Australia, also known as the Commonwealth of Australia, is a unique country as it occupies an entire continent of the same name. However, there are more continents, and in terms of the area of its territory, Australia occupies only the sixth place among the countries of the world. Australia is officially believed to have been discovered by the Dutch in 1606, but the colonial powers of the time showed little interest in the land. More or less, the British began to master it, and even then at first only in order to exile their prisoners there. The colonial period was rather short, but the English Queen is still the formal ruler of Australia. Fact number 1. People in Australia often joke that everything that crawls, flies or swims in their country can kill you. This is partly true. -6 of the 10 most venomous snakes in the world are found here, and some types of deadly poisonous spiders can even bite through an army boot. The Australian mainland broke away from the others a very long time ago, earlier than the rest, and a large number of relict fauna, sometimes very dangerous, has been preserved here. Fact number 2. Of all the countries in the world, Australia is the only one that occupies an entire continent, plus a number of islands. In general, the debate about whether to consider it a continent or an island lasted for a very long time, but in the end it was recognized as a continent. Once in the geological past of the Earth, it was one with the Zealand mainland, which broke away from it millions of years ago and then went underwater. The islands on which the country of New Zealand is now located are the peaks of the highest mountains of this continent. Fact number 3. The Australian capital is Canberra, which, like Brasilia in Brazil, was built specifically for this purpose. The dispute between Sydney and Melbourne dragged on for too long. Both of these cities claimed the title of the capital, and in order not to offend anyone, they decided to build a new city. Fact number 4. The first settlers in Australia were criminals sentenced to hard labor and exiled here from Great Britain. For many decades, criminals here accounted for a much larger share of the population than immigrants who arrived here of their own free will. Australians love to joke on this topic, pointing out that the crime rate in their country is much lower than in the US and even India. Fact number 5. One of the first Europeans who landed on the coast of Australia was the famous navigator James Cook, who brought with him a flotilla of 11 ships and founded a new colony, staking out land for England. Just a few days later, French ships arrived there, but their captains were severely disappointed to see that they were late. And the Dutch have been here even earlier, but they have not staked out the land. Fact number 6. Long before Cook, Australia was visited by people from other continents. A century and a half before the arrival of the British, the Dutch navigator Willem Janssen visited here, but he never realized that he had discovered a new continent. It is also proven that this mainland has been repeatedly visited by Chinese ships. Fact number 7. Despite the fact that Australia is the smallest and driest continent of all, and in terms of area it is twice as small as Russia, about species of living creatures live here. Moreover, most of them are not found anywhere else. And there are about beaches here, more than in any other country in the world. Fact number 8. The center of Australia is a hot and dry desert in which no one lives, and about 80% of the population lives at a distance of no more than 100 km from the ocean coast. According to statistics, about a quarter of all Australians were born outside this country. Most of the rest are also descendants of immigrants. Fact number 9. Australia is very tough on the problem of illegal immigration. Boats with illegal immigrants from neighboring countries are sent to Papua New Guinea or Nauru, where refugee camps have been established, or they are returned back to where they came from. In their fight against illegal immigrants, the Australian authorities took unprecedented measures. They hired informants who reported on upcoming sea voyages, bought old boats from Indonesian owners so that they would not serve to transport illegal immigrants, and sent undercover agents into the ranks of the smugglers. Fact number 10. Australia is in the top 3 least populous countries in the world. The population density here is about 2.8 people per square kilometer, which is comparable to the population density in Siberia. This parameter is lower only for two countries, Namibia and Mongolia. Subscribe to the channel, like and write comments.